Do you ever just wake up some days, you turn off your alarm, you check your phone, and then you see, oh man, it's Monday. I hate Mondays. And then you start complaining about everything about Monday. You get to work, you do the bare minimum, you go home, and then you wake up the next day, and then the alarm goes off again, and then you tell yourself, oh man, I hate Tuesdays. You complain about everything about Tuesdays, and then you just go to work, do your bare minimum, go home, and then this cycle repeats over and over again, and then you just don't even realize that you are creating a pattern of you being demotivated and you being uninspired and not even doing anything about it. And in this episode, we are going to even try to attempt to get you motivated and to get you inspired. And again, welcome back to the show. My name is Paolo Segura, and this is Breaking Patterns. And the pattern that we are going to attempt to break today is that pattern of you choosing to be demotivated and you choosing to be uninspired. And I know what you're thinking. Hey, I'm not choosing to be demotivated. I'm not choosing to be uninspired. That's just how I'm feeling on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, your feelings are definitely valid, but definitely you do also have that choice to go on YouTube or maybe to go on Spotify, maybe search for a YouTube video on how to be motivated, how to be inspired, and then you ended up on my channel, all right? So that is still a choice that you made to actually make a difference with how you're operating on a day-to-day basis. And again, for a lot of people, for me included, there was a time in the past that I just didn't want to do anything at all because I was heartbroken, I was demotivated, I was uninspired, simply because I thought that there was nothing that the world could offer to make me feel better about myself, to make me feel better about my work, to make me feel better about everything else that I've been doing. And it was just only up until I finally made that choice that enough is enough, that I didn't want to be a victim anymore and I had to do something about it. So just like any other person who wanted to be motivated, I went on YouTube, I looked for those motivating videos with people boxing, with people jogging, people running, and just listened to these very inspiring speakers, whoever they may be, from celebrities to sports stars to even actors. But I knew for a fact that those motivating videos would only work for a short amount of time. And then I just have to watch something else. So I needed to watch something new. I needed to keep doing that over and over again until I just found myself exhausted because I thought to myself, none of these videos would actually work on the long time. So this is why we have this episode wherein I'm going to attempt to hopefully make a structure, make a system for you in order for you to be able to keep yourself motivated on a regular basis, day to day, ever so slowly, up until you create a critical mass and you create momentum for yourself that you just don't even realize you don't even need to motivate yourself anymore. So I guess we want to ask the question, why do we choose to be demotivated? Why do we choose to be uninspired on a day-to-day basis? And just like any other choice and any other episode, we talk about the benefits and the price that we pay for each choice that we make. Because the truth is, the reality is, there is no wrong choice. All your feelings are valid, definitely. But with every choice that we make, again, there is a benefit as to why we choose this, and there is a price as to why we choose this option as well. So with the choice of us feeling demotivated, with the choice of us not even look for inspiration out there, the benefit there is that, number one, we get to be lazy because the truth is it actually feels really nice to be at home the entire day, maybe staying in bed, maybe playing video games, maybe watching Netflix the whole day. I would love to have some of those days, but of course, we can't do that every day because we've got the price to pay. Another benefit of choosing to be demotivated and choosing not to find inspiration is that you actually get to be right, that my job sucks, my business sucks, my business isn't going anywhere, my life isn't going anywhere, the hobbies that I have do not make any money at all. You get to be right because you don't actually do anything to make a difference in your life. And number three benefit there is that you get not to care. Sometimes it actually feels great to only care about yourself. That's just from my experience, that I don't need to care about anyone else right now. I just need to take care of me because I need to honor my body. I need to honor my mental health and not do anything and just take a day off. Yes, definitely that works. But again, you do not want to create that pattern that on a day-to-day basis, you will always want to make sure that I'm not going to care about anyone else anymore, and I'm just going to care about me. Because at the end of the day, the truth is, your life isn't about you. Your life is about everyone else's lives that you touch. And if you choose to stay demotivated and uninspired and stay at home the entire day, you won't get to connect with other people. You won't get to make other people happy. You won't get to change other people's lives, and you won't even get to love other people. And that's just not a life that you'd want to live. And the price that you pay if you choose to stay at home, do nothing, and just serve yourself is, number one, you get to procrastinate everything that you have to do at work, at business, your projects, your hobbies, even the things that you have to do at home, just like chores, they pile up. And we wouldn't want that, because once we finally feel that, hey, I'm right about ready to start working again, you're gonna start feeling demotivated again, because all of the load that has piled up in front of you, right? And number two price that you have to pay if you choose to stay demotivated on a day-to-day basis is that you don't get to move forward. You don't get to move forward with your goals. You don't get to move forward with your business. You don't get to move forward with your personal life, because the truth is, life is about progress. Life is about you making sure that you keep moving forward, finding out who you are, finding out how you want to show up in the world, you know? So if in case you don't get to move forward with any of your goals, whether it's health goals, wealth goals, relationship goals, the world's gonna keep turning, and you decided to stop moving. And when you realize this, if you can just imagine it, if the world keeps moving around the sun and you stayed still, you're gonna get left behind. And the last price that you get to pay, if you decide to stay demotivated, if you decide to stay uninspired on a day-to-day basis, is that you get to have a bad day every day for the rest of your life. And I don't want that, not for myself, and I don't want that for you. Okay? And the reality is, there are a lot of things that make us demotivated in life. There's a lot of things that keep us uninspired, especially at work, because the truth is, we spend 80 to 90% of our waking hours at work doing our businesses, doing our jobs, and you're going to want to make sure that you're always pumped up, energized, and ready to take on the day, because again, for the majority of our lives, we will be doing our purpose. We'll be doing our roles in society. And you want to make sure that you're always happy and excited on a day-to-day basis, showing up at work day-to-day, playing full out, making sure that you're making an impact to whoever that you're touching, especially the people that you serve. Okay? So I'm just going to talk about some of the reasons as to why we feel demotivated or why we feel uninspired at work specifically, but I'm sure that these reasons could also apply to whatever personal goals that you may have. So number one is that we get demotivated because we get stressed out, whether you're very overloaded at work, or maybe you feel that the role that you have, the business that you have is a bad fit because it's not natural to you at all. And number three, maybe it's your environment. Maybe the people that you're around, your coworkers, your leaders, the people under you are just bad people to be around. And that's okay, and that's just the reality. These are just things that we can't control. We can't control other people. The only people that we can actually control are ourselves. We can only control how we react to whenever your leader or your boss just screams at you, or maybe your coworkers are gossiping about you, around you, or gossiping about you specifically. And we're going to talk a little bit later about how to actually deal with these things that are stressing you out, because again, stress is the worst thing in the world. The truth is, 90% of cancer patients get cancer because of stress. It got manifested in their bodies because they get too stressed out. They're not doing anything at all to alleviate their stress. And all of that stress, all of that energy, all of that bad juju just gets stuck within their bodies. And then it eventually manifests into sickness, it manifests into cancer. And I know that there are a lot of people that are going to say, well, cancer is going to be caused by external things, like smoking or the environment, the pollution, whatever, the things that you're eating. But your body's a really wonderful piece of technology that it can actually heal itself so long as you make sure that you give it the right things to absorb, coming from the food, coming from the things that you're placing in your mind, and also the things that you're allowing yourself to speak as well. So you have to make sure that you don't get yourself stressed out regularly, and we're going to talk about the different things, how to keep that at bay later on. Number two reason as to why we get demotivated or why we get uninspired at work is that we're sometimes just too distracted because your space is just too disorganized, whether it's your physical space, your digital space. It's too disorganized, and you just don't know where to start, how to start, and why the hell am I here in the first place? Number two reason why you get distracted, sometimes it's just too easy. Why am I even working here? I get too underpaid doing a job that I know that I can do so much more in it. And that gets us distracted, and you're like telling yourself that, yeah, this is too easy for me, so I'm just gonna go on my phone, play games, or just check social media or whatever. And lastly, you get easily distracted because you're too lazy. You don't actually have the energy to get to work. You're sleepy on a day-to-day basis because you're not even taking care of yourself first before you get to work. And lastly, the last reason as to why we get very demotivated and very uninspired at work is maybe you don't even have goals at your workplace. You don't even have business goals for yourself. Or even if we're not even talking about business, we're talking about your personal goals. Maybe you don't even have a personal goal at all. People are just telling you to exercise, people are telling you to sleep, eat right, but you don't actually have a goal in mind on how you want to look, how you want to feel, how you want to be in the future. And alternatively from that, maybe you've got so many goals, you've got these big moonshot goals for you, and you've got a fear of failing. You've got a fear that you're never even going to reach your goals, so why bother? So I'm just feeling so demotivated going to work because this is never even going to work out for me at all. I don't even know why I'm here. So these are the different reasons as to why we get demotivated, why we get uninspired. And I'm listing all of these down because these are the things that I've experienced in the past, either working at the call center, being a musician, being a virtual assistant, and now also being a financial wealth planner and a content creator. All of these things are also adding up as to why it took me a day late to put up this camera in front of me, put up this microphone for me to speak to you guys. And even my personal and business goals, I've been gaining weight. I haven't been doing too much sales as well because I've been feeling a little bit demotivated for the last few weeks, last few months as well. So again, thank you for being here because again, me creating these episodes, me talking about this, not only my hope here is not only to help you guys out, whoever's watching, whoever's listening, but it's also to help me out with my goals in my life as well, just to make sure that my life is going to work. So at this time, I'm going to talk about the different options that we have. I'm going to talk about three things that we could work on, three things that would hopefully give you some guidance as to how you can get more motivation, get more inspired on a day-to-day basis. Are you ready? So let's begin. So number one is talking about your mindset. I'm just using the word mindset here because I want to use three M's. It's mindset, motivation, and methods. All right. So in mindset, I'm really talking about your beliefs around your work, your beliefs around what you're doing, and maybe the beliefs about yourself at all. Like, what are the underlying things that you think about every day when you see the people at work, when you look at your laptop, or maybe even just looking at yourself at the mirror? What are the beliefs that you're holding deep down inside about it, about yourself, about your work, that are either empowering or disempowering. So, number one things that you might want to ask yourself, do you actually have your goals? Are they clear enough? Are they big enough? Are they motivating you enough to get up in the morning? Or maybe you're asking yourself, with the work that I'm doing, with the business that I'm in, is it actually growing? Am I actually growing? Am I turning into a better person day in and day out? Am I learning something new? Am I actually creating an impact? And maybe there are some times that you show up at work and you think that this is just to make your boss richer. Maybe this is just um, give me something to do on a day-to-day basis because I don't want to stay at home every day. Or maybe you have a belief that this is a dead-end job, that you're not even going to get anywhere at all. You're never going to get promoted. You're never going to buy your dream house. You're never going to live the life that you want because you're in a place that's just not aligned to who you believe that you are. And that's really scary. Now, what I want you to do about this is that hopefully you have a journal, a pen, and a paper, and just write these things down. Look at your work, look at your finances, look at your career, look at your personal life. What are your deeply held beliefs around them? And the trick to finding out what these are is for you to give yourself a timer, maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and write down as fast as possible without even thinking about it. Just the first thing that you think about without using your logic, you just write it down. Like, do you have goals? Of course I have goals. I just don't know what they are. Maybe that's a belief. Okay? So after you do this exercise, I want you to just read them one by one. And again, find out, are these beliefs empowering to you or are they disempowering? And if they are empowering, great. You keep those. You hold on to those beliefs because these are the things that will help you push forward on a day-to-day basis. And if those beliefs are actually disempowering to you, find a way to reframe them. So, for example, if you say to yourself that this is a dead end job and it's not going to get me anywhere if I continue in this job, you might want to reframe it. This is just a stepping stone for me to create my own business. This is just a stepping stone for me to gain new skills so that I can get hired by a bigger company. That's an example of you reframing those beliefs. Okay? So that covers off the mindset bit of how we're gonna get you motivated today. All right. And number two, another M is just motivation. Okay. So motivation at its core is you finding out what are the things that actually energizes you? What are the things that empowers you? What are the things that keep you up in the morning? Find out your biggest why. It could be because you've got big dreams for yourself, you want to help charity, or maybe it's as simple as making sure that you get fed on a day-to-day basis. If you have a family, that's a very, very powerful why as well. These are the people that you can always look back to as to why you're doing what you're doing, as to why you're making sure that you're improving on a day-to-day basis, doing the best that you can, doing the best that you can at work and at your business to make sure that you bring more money at home because you've got people to put to school, you've got people to feed, you've got people to make sure that they live in a very safe environment. Okay? And the biggest challenge here is that sometimes they're just right in front of you. You see them on a day-to-day basis, but you forget. You forget why you're doing what you're doing. So I want you to, again, in your journal, write it down. Or even if it's not a journal, even if it's on a sticky note, you're going to want to put that in a place where you see that on a day-to-day basis. All right. If it's at work, I see this a lot. When I used to work at the call center, that some people, they put a pin with a photo of their family on there just to remind them why they're doing what they're doing. And that's very, very powerful. And another step for you to make sure that you've got enough motivation. Again, motivation is all about energy. And that's you managing your energy on a day-to-day basis. So this is where I'd like to invite you to create a routine for yourself. Because with your routine, a lot of people just see the external things. You reading a book in the morning, you exercising, you praying, you meditating, you doing your daily devotions. But really, the effects of these routines affects you internally. It affects your health. It affects your heart. and it affects your mind. So again, these are things that are internal, because the truth is the 90% of all your results in your life are based on how you feel internally, and not on how you look externally. So again, you are going to want to create a routine for yourself. There's a lot of content out there on YouTube, on Spotify, or maybe just on Google, on how to create a very powerful morning routine. And I would highly suggest that you look at the 20-20-20 formula by Robin Sharma, wherein on a day-to-day basis, you want to make sure that you set aside 1 hour each day, 20 minutes on your health, you exercising. Number two, your heart, in which case that's you making sure that you're connected with your soul, you're connected with yourself, you're connected to a higher source, whether it's God, source, the universe, whoever that may be for you. So that's sometimes in the form of meditation, that's in the form of journaling, that's in the form of prayer and daily devotions. And lastly, in your internal game, you also want to make sure that you have a routine for your mind again. So your mind, I'm talking about learning something new on a day-to-day basis, learning something new about maybe motivation, maybe learning something new about your work, learning something new about home, it could be as simple as learning a new recipe for yourself, if that keeps you up at night, okay? And lastly, the third M that we're going to talk about on how you can actually alleviate yourself from demotivation is M, methods. So again, it's going to be mindset, motivation, and then methods, all right? And when we're talking about methods, I don't want you to do something so extravagant that just looking at it, you're going to feel motivated right away, and you tell yourself, oh man, I can't really do that at all. Because there are some examples there that if you want to get motivated, you want to make sure that you get to run 5 kilometers every day. You gotta make sure that you create big extravagant goals, create a vision board. And the truth is, sometimes you barely could get up. So how could I even do that? So it's really all about making sure that you make small, simple steps that you're absolutely sure that you get to finish. You're absolutely sure that you're going to get a win with that small, simple step. So again, talking about that routine at the start, I know that we're talking about 20 minutes working on your heart, your health, and your mind on a day-to-day basis, but maybe you're just not motivated enough to do that. So I want you to start small. I want you to start simple. Maybe if 10 minutes of meditation is too much for you, start with 3. And then you just build that up into 4 to 5 into 10 minutes. And then eventually you'll realize that 20 minutes of meditation is simple enough for you. 20 minutes of you reading a new book is simple enough for you. Maybe 20 minutes of you working out on a day-to-day basis is already simple enough for you. So again, you're going to want to make sure that the things that, especially when you're starting off, is simple enough that you're absolutely sure that you're able to do that. Okay, and then just progress from there. And maybe another small, simple step that you can do if you feel overloaded at work is to slowly reduce your workload. Maybe delegating that to other people, maybe realizing that this piece of work isn't even worth the effort. As you creating that that priority management, that commitment management for yourself, deciding where to reduce workload, or maybe if it's too easy, it's you adding workload as well. You going up to your boss and asking him for more work, or you going up to your boss and say, hey boss, I don't think I'll be able to do this. Maybe you could pass this on to someone else. Or maybe we could work something out that is actually doable and I can actually deliver something to you. Okay, whatever that looks like, I want that to be as simple as possible. Striking up a conversation, writing an email, sending a text. It could be as simple as that before you jump into that conversation. And the number 2 method that I want you to create for yourself is to create a structure. And it all starts with that morning routine that I was talking about earlier in terms of energy management. Because once you've got more than enough energy in your mind, in your heart, and in your health, you'll be able to just go out there and just do more stuff. And when we're talking about structure, you're going to also want to create a way for you to plan your day, maybe plan your week ahead of time. I know that Robin Sharma plans his week every Sunday, so that's also structure for him. For me, structure for me is just at the start of the day, I just want to check on what are the things that I still need to do, what are my commitments for the day. I check my calendar if I have any meetings, if I have any other learning sessions, if I've got stuff to do. I look at all of that and plan what can I actually put at the top, what's most urgent and what's most important. Maybe checking in what's urgent and not important, what's not important but urgent, and see if you can actually delegate that to other people as well. All right. And then you want to make sure that when you're creating that plan, when you're creating that structure for yourself, you prioritize based on how committed are you on each task that you're creating. All right. So I hope that has been helpful. So again, these are the things that you can do to make sure that you're motivated on a day-to-day basis. Number one, you work on your mindset, checking in on your beliefs, writing them down, reframing, and then maybe reprogramming your brain on how you actually see your work, how you actually see your business, your hobbies, and yourself. And make sure that all of your beliefs there are empowering enough to get you up in the morning. And you want to make sure that you always have them handy so that you can always go back to these beliefs, making sure that you plant these new beliefs for yourselves. Alternatively, there are other YouTube videos out there that help you reframe those beliefs, or maybe even programming new beliefs into yourself. And that's really powerful through either affirmations or meditations as well. Number two, I want you to also write down in your journal your big picture as to why you're doing what you're doing. Again, it could be as simple as making sure that you've got food on the table, or it could be as big because you want to serve a really large movement. You want to make sure that you make a huge impact in the world or the industry that you're in. Number three, I want you to create a structure. First of all, personally for yourself, create a morning routine for yourself wherein you're making sure that you're working on your health, you're working on your heart, and you're working on your mind on a day-to-day basis. And then lastly, I want you to make sure that with all of these things that I've just given you, you want to make sure that you start small, you start simple, you start and finish, and you start small enough that you make sure that you're able to finish it, and that becomes a win. And that makes you more motivated to take that extra step, take that extra mile into everything that you're doing. So at the end of that as well, I also want to make sure that when you're finding these small, simple steps, sometimes you've got three decisions on what to do about your workload, your work, and yourself. It's either you delegate that workload to other people, maybe you grow, expand enough that you're able to handle all of that stress, handle all of that load, or lastly, you can just let go. And again, my name is Paolo Segura, and I hope this episode has been helpful to you. I hope that you found so much value in this episode that you find yourself motivated today, motivated tomorrow. And if you do need to make sure that you're motivated again, go back to your journal, go back to yourself. I want to make sure that this episode makes you sure that you can motivate and you yourself can inspire yourself. All right. And again, if you found value in this episode, hopefully you could share this, give me a like, give me a subscribe, share this with someone that you love that would get a lot from this show, right? Thank you again, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace and namaste.